Hey, this is Coach Bill. In our last video, we talked about combining effective velocity with your hitter's mechanics using the right now technique was a simple way to get your hitters to be on perfect timing. Now, today I want to take you a little bit deeper into why that right now works. So, parents and coaches, if you've ever given your players some advice or some instruction just before the at bat and that at bat failed, please understand it probably wasn't that they weren't listening. It's probably that the brain could not process that information fast enough. So in this video, we're going to break down why cue words like right now and go, hit hard, why they actually work, how the brain and body simplify timing and help your hitters move from thinking to doing. Hey, so where does the breakdown begin? What's the problem here when we're hitting? Well, please understand that when hitters look really good in cages, but they're struggling in games, there's probably something going on. Number one, we can batch command, batch instruct in a cage. So typically, by the ninth swing, we should probably have our timing down. And a lot of times as coaches, what we're trying to do, we're trying to make our hitters feel good, right? Instead of trying to make them earn it. And so what will happen is the brain is going to acclimate, probably by the ninth or 10th pitch, to the speed that we're throwing. And typically what we do, we throw batting practice fastballs to slower locations. And so our hitters begin to feel good about themselves. They get on time, but it's actually doing them a disservice in the game. So I don't believe slow reactions or swinging late is an effort problem. It's really about timing and the brain processing those speeds. And so one of the things when we begin to work is beginning to just understand what velocity is on the plate, because the same pitch speed as it reads on a radar is certainly not the same pitch speed that we experience as a hitter. Okay, and so that's one of the very first things that we want to begin to do. So effective velocity teaches us that every pitch actually steals time or gives time from the hitter. Okay, the brain perceives different speeds depending on pitch location, and that's number one. So without a timing system, hitters guess, and when you guess, you miss more often than you get it right. Okay, and so what I would say is the secret is there's a little speed gap that's in the brain, and that speed gap, especially at younger kids, it's like 3 or 4 or 5 miles an hour, meaning from pitch to pitch, that a pitcher, if they can change speeds plus or minus 3 or 4 or 5 miles an hour from pitch to pitch, are going to give a hitter a hard time. Okay, so we have to begin to understand that. When you get to like high school, that gap is typically 6 to 8. I call that the speed gap. And so we want to become aware of that. And so that one of the first things that we want to do is to introduce that in a hard reality type of situation where we're throwing same speeds, but we're getting different results. We're throwing same speeds to faster areas and to slower areas. Okay, so that's the part one. Understanding what our problem is, okay? So as I briefly mentioned, you're going to get anywhere from about 0.15 to 0.25 seconds to decide to make your swing. That's too short for detailed instructions like keep your hands up or don't overstride, shorten your stride, or don't step in to the pitch or don't step in the bucket, okay? So instead, hitters need a cue word, a simple word anchor, a simple mental anchor that turns chaos into clarity. So cue words that work simply because they bypass overthinking and trigger the right body movements instantly, right? So think of it this way. If we were to line our players up and we're just going to run a foot race and we just say, get on your mark, get set, go, there are no issues. There are no issues. The body understands immediately, instantly, what it wants to do, and we go from there. Similar things here are happening now when we hit. So think of it like the sprinter hearing the word go when we're saying, and go, right now, okay, it's just firing off what we've already trained it to do. That's where your mechanics come in, okay? So part 2 is beginning to understand that the brain and the reaction windows, they need to be massaged here a little bit, assuaged a little bit, so that we're getting just a reaction rather than trying to think our way through the process itself, okay? Right now tells the hitter exactly when to launch, right? Right now. Right now. So that right now is going to tell us exactly when to launch. It's going to remove any doubt about our timing, about what we're guessing at, okay? And in short, we've got this really sharp, easy for the brain to process word that under pressure is going to stand up, okay? So right now. And what's often fun to watch is when kids will typically see, there's always that young fella that can really throw it, and our eyes will lie to us. They get us to think that ball is moving exceptionally fast, and so in the brain, then we think we have to be faster. And typically, I think that's where our issues arise from, rather. And so what will happen is we start to process everything faster. We try to make things go faster, and we don't have to do that, okay? What we'll end up finding is when we go to right now, hitters begin to feel, oh, he's at right now, and the previous guy was right now, just a little bit slower. And all of a sudden, it sort of is a calming effect. It is a focusing effect as well. And I think the first use of this comes back in like 1971. There was a psychologist by the name of Alan Paivio. He called it the dual coding theory. And basically, what he said was, hey, our brains remember things best when we connect words with images or actions. And again, that was in 1971. And you can see, here we are, a quarter of a century into the 21st century, and we're still not applying what we already know. Okay, in fact, in 1988, it was replicated again. And then the use of imagery, a target, went right along with that right now. And, that is basically the easiest way to recover, not to recover, but it's the easiest way to acquire a skill such as hitting. So when a hitter hears a cue word like right now and ties it to the feel for their launch, they're building a stronger mental link. Right now, there's my fastball. Here's the curveball, right now. And so I start to feel that timing that everybody tells us, right? For me, I just always have wondered, especially on curveballs, they always tell us, hey, let the ball get deeper. How am I going to do that, right? When you're giving me like a thousandth of a second to get it figured out, how am I going to do that? Okay, so the word fires the image right now, boom, and the image fires the action. Okay, that's important to understand. So that's why the swing can become automatic. It's why the swing does become automatic. And it's why cue words work better than long instructions. So it ties directly to what effective velocity is teaching us. If timing is off by just a millisecond, even a perfect swing fails. So I'm trying to use my right now, not to be perfectly on time, but, right, without it, I'm off this much. With the use of right timing, I might be off this much. A little late, a little early. However, I'm probably still going to hit the ball at a relatively high efficiency rate. Okay, so on that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, being just 1/100th of a second means you miss by almost a foot. Okay, and right now is just going to shrink that margin of error. And we see this all the time on the ball that's fouled directly back. We do this here at the building all the time. Kids think they're on the money with it. In fact, they've heard it over and over. Hey, you're right there. You're right on it. And then when we go measure it out, they find out that they're 3 feet. Let me back up. They're 3 feet away. That's the length of my ball bat, right? Plus 4 inches, right? They're 3 feet away from being on time. That's a lot. So parents, coaches, When your hitter is using and go right now, their brain and body connect instantly instead of freezing. And we've done this where kids who have struggled their entire life are hitting balls within 3 or 4 pitches. If you continue on this, within 2 weeks, you're pitch to pitch, basically. And if you want to see this in action, you could go search on YouTube for Tim Galway's Inside Tennis, where he actually went out on the streets in the early 70s and just pulled random people off the street to play tennis. And it's amazing what those mnemonics, what those words will do. Okay, so listen, if you want more of this information, please just subscribe to the station, to the channel here. It's there. If there's something else you need me to cover, please just put it in the comments. I'll be glad to do that. Anyhow, let's get back to what we're doing, okay? So I've had players from all ages, from all levels, from College World Series champions to college softball All-Americans come back and say, hey, Coach, that actually works. And yeah, it does. I mean, that's the only thing that I can say to them. I mean, think of it this way. I mean, I don't think in football, I don't know, I can't say that, but I don't think a quarterback like Pat Mahomes will go back and he's thinking through his mechanics on how to make a throw in the middle of the throw, right? I think he's got some type of trigger word that just says fire the football whenever it's time. And when that happens, boom, it's there, right? So cue words are like a light switch that powers up all the mechanics that you've built in practice. So there are 1,000 people with better mechanics and drills and all that stuff out there than I am, right? But I believe wholeheartedly, overwhelmingly, we're talking about timing. And as we can improve our mechanical efficiency, we're going to get better and better and better. So yes, there is most certainly a place for that. But I'm sitting here saying, I think the root issue here is timing. Okay? So how can you use this? How can parents and coaches use this? So teach your hitter, don't overwhelm them. Teach them one thing at a time, right? When the ball comes off the fingertips, that's and. That could be right. That could be the hitter saying hit. So the ball's coming off the fingertips. That's where I'm going to start, okay? If I can get that initially, I'm in pretty good position. Eventually, I'm going to start mixing it in. Probably relatively quickly, I can now add the now, right now. And now is as I'm impacting the ball with my barrel, okay? So I have a target. I'm using right as I'm hitting the ball now. And now I'm just getting feedback. A lot of times I'll just take kids, you know how drives parents and coaches nuts when the kids take baseballs and they throw them towards the buckets when they're cleaning them up? Well, we use that as a teaching moment, right? How do you know how to make that shot? And that's what we're trying to emphasize, reinforce with the hitter. Hey, you have these abilities. You have the ability to make the adjustment. Now, let's just apply it to baseball, because what we don't have in baseball is we don't have good feedback mechanisms. All right, we've got the let it get deeper, but that's really not finite enough. Okay, so when we're using this, we're going to have our target right now. And that's where we begin, okay? It will become automatic. We're going to say it out loud to begin with. Eventually, over the course of time, it just becomes rote. It becomes a part of that process, and we keep it in the brain, right? But initially, I want to hear it out loud. And I don't want to force it, right? So I'm just right here, right now. So I'll encourage my hitters, they can create their own cue words, okay? I use right now. Perry uses and go. David Wright used hit hard, okay? So let them say it in their head as the pitcher is going through their delivery, releasing the ball. For younger hitters, keep it fun, treat it like a game, right? Hey, can you say right now at the exact moment the pitcher releases? And for me, it's right, right? Can you say right? And I sing it. I want it to be sung, right? Can you say right now? Okay? That's where we're going to start with our hitters. So in summarizing, right now and go, any of those sharp, positive, aggressive words, they work because it simplifies timing. It shrinks reaction windows and it frees the hitter from overthinking, right? So in your next step, if you want to learn more about how cue words and effective velocity can unlock your hitter's timing, check out my free starter course in the Better Ball Player community. It's built for parents and coaches who want practical, science-backed tools to help hitters succeed. I think if you go into the description, just click on that. If you enjoyed this, also please think about subscribing. I appreciate that from my perspective. It just lets me know that somebody was watching. Okay, so and I like that as well. Okay, hey everybody, we'll be back soon. In the meantime, get at it right now.